What's up, guys? Jay and Derek here with Tap and Turn Gaming. So, in this video, you're going to hear two introductions to this video. After we had, filmed the first iteration of the video, we refreshed the page on this website, and there were 5 new cards on the page. So we're going to go over those 5 now, and then the rest of the video will be the cards underneath it. So you'll hear 2 introductions, but that's why you'll be hearing that. So let's take a look at these 5 cards.
So first we have Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. I guess Big Daddy Ulamog has come back. He's now at 10 mana for a 10/10. When you cast Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, exile 2 target permanents. He is indestructible. And when Ulamog attacks, the defending player exiles the top 20 cards of his or her library. I mean, this guy...
It's dumb.
Dumb.
It's so good it's dumb.
It just strikes me to say, really? Really?
Yeah, because, we were just talking about this before we started filming this up. And, Wizards, said they weren't going to redo Annihilator because it was too powerful. And, I want to say that Ulamog's previous iteration had, Annihilator 4, so when he attacked, your opponent had to sacrifice 4 permanents.
Yeah, no big deal.
It
hurts, but...
it definitely hurts, but...
It's maintainable.
Yeah, if you're playing up, against a token deck, the token deck can just sacrifice a bunch of tokens away.
Yeah.
But this guy is
20 cards?
The fact that whenever he attacks, just by turning him sideways, you exile your opponent. Exile! Not even mill, they get exiled. The top 20 cards of their deck is pretty dumb.
For all the standard modern players, it's a third of their deck gone.
Yeah.
And for an EDH player, that's 20% of your deck is gone. That's either way, it still hurts. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, the card's ridiculously powerful
he's awesome.
and amazing.
Yeah, he's awesome.
You cast him, you exile 2 permanents. He's indestructible like he was in his first iteration, and that exiling the top 20 cards is retarded good.
Oh, yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Wow. Wow. Anyways, on to the next card. Up next, we have Titan's Strength, a 3-cost colorless instant.
Titan's Presence.
Sorry, I said Titan's Strength. Titan's Presence. As an additional cost to cast Titan's Presence, reveal a colorless creature card from your hand. Exile target creature if its power is less than or equal to the revealed card's power. This card's kind of garbagey.
Yeah, it's only really good if you're actually playing, at least from an EDH standpoint.
A lot of big colorless guys.
Yeah, if you're playing a Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger deck.
Maybe.
It
is Ulamog in the art, by the way. That's his big ugly dome, because it even says it's Ulamog down here. Something about stupid stuff.
From a flavor standpoint, I think it's pretty cool.
It's very cool flavor-wise.
Yeah.
For me, it just screams too much of a corner case. You have to cast this, have a colorless creature in your hand, and have the creature that you want to exile be weaker than the card in your hand. There needs to be too much going on for this to work out.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just...
So, from an EDH outlook...
Up next, we have Ruinous Path. A 3-cost sorcery that destroys target creature or planeswalker with Awaken 4 for 7 mana. It's like a slightly worse Dreadbore a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. It doesn't have that, the 2-color mana, but, it does cost technically 1 extra mana at 3, where Dreadbore was 2. It does have that Awaken trigger, but, generally in Commander, I'm not really ever going to want to animate a land.
I don't want to invest 7 mana to kill 1 creature or planeswalker and to animate my land into a 4/4. That's 7 mana to kill a guy.
Yeah.
I could just play Decree of Pain for 1 more and kill everybody. For 2 more, I could just play In Garrick's Wake and kill all the planeswalkers.
Yeah. I would probably play it just for a 3-cost, kill any creature or planeswalker. That part's good. I just probably would never use the Awaken.
Yeah, I agree. I could use it with the intention of never, ever using the Awaken. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Radiant Flames, a 3-cost by 2 and 1 red sorcery with another new-ish ability, Converge. Radiant Flames deals X damage to each creature, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast Radiant Flames. This is another time when Wizards just takes an ability and renames it, and renames it, and renames it.
Yeah, it's Sunburst.
It's Sunburst, or Domain, or Chroma, like whatever you want to call it. It's all the same stuff. But now it's Converge.
Well, I mean, Chroma was more similar to Devotion, I believe.
Yeah.
But
right,
this is essentially Sunburst from Mirrodin.
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the most it can do is 5, so, I mean, it's not even that great.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing a 5-color deck, yeah, you get a 3-cost burn spell that does 5 damage. I mean, that's good, but you have to be playing a 5-color deck. And,
actually, you can literally only do 3 damage with it.
Oh, yeah, because it's the number of colors of mana spent to cast it.
So you're talking about a 3-mana sorcery that does max 3 damage for red at sorcery speed.
And it's a rare.
And that's a rare.
Should be like...
Oh, because it's each creature.
Oh, okay.
Right,
so we need to RTFC.
As we read, I mean, it's still worse than, like, Slagstorm.
Yeah, I would rather play
Slagstorm does the 3 damage at the sorcery speed without me having to tap 3 different colors to do it. So it's, it's worse than Slagstorm. Or worse than Anger of the Gods.
Yeah, I mean, at least Anger of the Gods will exile all the guys who get killed.
Yeah, and then the Eldrazi can take them. So this card's kind of garbagey-ish. I mean, I would say on average you're probably looking to do like 2 damage is what you're going to do most of the time, I think.
Yeah, more or less.
Next up we have Auryn Reef Hydra, a 6-cost 5/5 Hydra with Trample. He has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Auryn Reef Hydra. If that land was a forest, put 2 +1/+1 counters on him instead. It's pretty cool. I mean, considering he's in green, he's in the right colors to get big quick. So he's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, he has the potential to get very large. I could see that guy going into my Titania deck because, I would landfall in that deck a lot, and it's mono green. So he would end up getting, like double landfall, essentially, getting those 2 counters if the land that comes in is a forest. So, he has the potential to get very huge very quickly and just trample all over your opponent.
I mean, you cast him, and then the next turn cast like a Boundless Realms, find like, 7 or 8 forests, and he's getting goddamn huge. Pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, that wraps up those 5 cards. So the next thing you'll be hearing is when we go over the rest of the set, because as we said, we did the rest of the set that was spoiled, and then we refreshed the page, and these guys popped up. So enjoy the rest of the set after this. Thanks a lot.
Yep. What's up, everyone? Jay and Derek here from Tap and Turn Gaming, coming at you with a little bit different video today. So it's actually something we're going to look into doing for each upcoming set that comes out. So we're going to try to do little spoiler videos every week, once a week, leading up to a new set that's coming out. So obviously for this one, we'll be looking at Battle for Zendikar cards. So without further ado, let's get right on into it and start taking a look at some of the cards that have been spoiled here.
So what we're going to do is just going to go in order, left to right, top to bottom, as you would read a book. We'll just go over the cards and tell you how we think about them from an EDH perspective, not necessarily a standard or modern perspective. So the first thing we have here is Incubator Drone. He's a 3 and a blue cost 2/3 Eldrazi drone with Devoid. One of the new abilities that makes him colorless, basically. That's what it says. I mean, yeah. This card has no color, even though it has a blue mana symbol. But that's whatever. When Incubator Drone enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature token onto the battlefield, and it has sacrificed this creature and add 1 to your mana pool. I think what's cool about this card is it tells you a lot. One of the things it tells you is that the Eldrazi spawns from old Zendikar are not spawns anymore, they're Scions, and now they can actually go on the offensive. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, now they're 1/1s instead of 0/1s, so that's pretty cool that they've kind of grown up a little bit, I guess you could say.
They grow up so fast.
I mean, the only, kind of touching base with that new mechanic, Devoid, it kind of bothers me a little bit, honestly, that the card costs blue mana, but the actual card itself has no color.
I mean, it means literally the ability Devoid means literally 0 to EDH. Because for all intents and purposes, in EDH, this will always be a blue card because of the rules. So it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I overall just kind of don't really understand the whole Devoid mechanic. They could have just made each Eldrazi creature, colorless. But maybe, now that I think about it, maybe the developers at Wizards maybe did that on purpose to kind of throw a bone to EDH players or something, so that the card actually has a color. But then again, unless your general is colorless on his own, you can, play any colorless card in any colored deck. So, but it is what it is. It's a. I feel like sometimes Wizards just has to come up with new, keywords just to come up with new keywords. But, anyways.
Right, overall, so how do you feel about this card, Jay?
I mean, he's pretty cool. He's a guy that brings friends, or brings a friend. So, plus that friend can potentially ramp your mana. So, it seems a little, off theme, I guess, for a blue card. I would, think that would be more of a green thing, or maybe even a white.
Yeah, green or white or red I think it would fit into, because they all have tokens. This will go really great in an Animar deck. Because you'll cast it, you'll get that counter on Animar and get a creature to use for the mana. So you're basically getting a counter on Animar and a creature you can use for mana. It almost gives you 2 free mana.
Yeah, generally I like guys that bring friends. So
nobody wants to be lonely. Alright, so we both kind of feel for the most part. He's alright.
It's not bad. It's a common. So
yeah, it's a common. Up next we have Blight Herder. He's a 5-cost 4/5 Eldrazi Processor. That's a pretty cool creature type.
Yeah.
He likes to sit down and think about things he processes them. When you cast Blight Herder, you may put 2 cards from your opponent. You may put 2 cards your opponents own from exile into their owner's graveyards. If you do, put 3 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature tokens on the battlefield. Blah blah blah. Sacrifice something mana. That part's all the same. So he's not bad. He's the only thing I don't like about him. I like him in theory. I just don't like that he relies a lot on other cards ingesting stuff.
Yeah. So that's one of the new abilities for the Eldrazi at this set is the ability ingest. So basically, whenever they hit your opponent exiles the top card of their deck. So, that guy works really well with other Eldrazi's that are ingesting your opponent's deck. So, if you, let's say ingest, 5 cards, off of your opponent's deck, and then you cast this guy, you can get those 3 Scion tokens onto the board by, what is it? You take them from exile and put them in the graveyard?
Yeah, but you have to do 2 cards, too.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of...
From an EDH standpoint, it'd be not impossible, but probably a little bit difficult to actually trigger that.
Yeah, what makes him not great is that you need somebody to have ingested something, as well as more than 1 card to use his ability, which is only on cast. It's you need a percentage of a percentage of a percentage of something to happen for him to do anything. And then you only get 3 1/1 creatures.
Yeah, even it doesn't necessarily have to be another Eldrazi. This is from an EDH standpoint as well. You could Curse of Swine a bunch of your opponent's creatures off the board and then cast him and get some value off of it that way. So it's not impossible in an EDH environment to trigger that guy's ability, but like you said, it's a percentage of certain things that need to happen in order for him to actually do what he does.
All right. Yeah, so he's sort of for EDH.
I like his art and I like his creature type. He's a processor.
I like how he's really big and has a bunch of little babies underneath him.
Yeah, he's pretty cool looking.
All right, up next we have Mist Intruder. He's a 2-cost, 1 and a blue 2-cost, 1/2 Devoid Flying Ingester Eldrazi Drone. So this is the first creature we now see on this list with Ingest. Not the first one spoiled with Ingest, but the first one on this list. So he has Devoid, which we've already talked about. Everybody knows what Flying does. And he has Ingest, which is basically what it says exactly is whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top card of his or her library. And that's when something like the Blight Herder or some of the other cards will feed off of it. It's kind of weird that he's doing the ingesting, but they're doing the eating. But he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, for a 2-mana, 1/2 flyer that, has the potential to exile cards off the top of your opponent's deck isn't bad. Would I play him in an EDH deck? Probably not, but,
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't either.
I mean, it is what it is. A lot of the commons and stuff that we'll probably be looking at, won't be, hugely impactful, but a lot of the rares. I mean, there's definitely some rares that have been spoiled so far that I'm pretty excited about. So
oh, really?
We'll get to those.
Up next, we have Barrage Titan. He is a 4 and a red Eldrazi, who's a 5/3. He has Devoid, and he has pay 2 and a red, sacrifice another colorless creature. Barrage Tyrant deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to target creature or player. Now, this guy could find a home in most decks.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, I think, before you and I actually started the video, you made a comment about how he would fit right into a Bosch Iron Golem deck, and I would have to completely agree.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you could fling a Blightsteel Colossus at someone and just kill them.
Yep.
they're just dead because it's the sacrificed creatures dealing the damage, not him.
Well, actually, no, he does.
No, sorry, yeah,
he does.
Yeah, he's dealing the damage, so he wouldn't kill him that way. But
still, that's 11 damage to the face for 3 mana, so it's definitely not bad. It kind of makes me a little bit sad that he says another colorless creature, because I would probably put him into my Prosh deck.
I would put him into every deck that has red, if it didn't say that. I mean, people are going to be like, oh, I'll fling a Worm Coil at you, and now I get 2 3/3s, and I'm going to throw them at you too.
Yep.
So I like him a lot. I think he's really good.
Yeah,
he definitely has some power to do some things.
Yeah, and that's actually the first rare that we're looking at, right?
No, Blightheart is a rare.
Oh, he is? Okay. Yeah. Well, this one, at least from an EDH standpoint, he's...
I give him a big thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely a lot more playable.
Plus, I mean, look at his art. It's even less like he's throwing an Eldrazi. He's got it in his left hand, or one of his left hands. He has like multiple hands.
He has multiple hands.
He's just chucking around baby Eldrazi.
He's got multiple extremities.
He's such a bully. Alright, so up next we have Eldrazi Devastator. He's an 8-cost, 8/9 Eldrazi with trample. That's it. He's kind of boring, kind of basic.
Yeah, he's just a vanilla guy that costs a lot of mana, and he's big, and he's got trample.
He's really good for Barrage Tyrant to throw around.
He is.
So we'll just, he's alright. We'll just go past him. Next up we have Kozilek's Channeler. He's a 5-cost 4/4 Eldrazi, and you can tap him to add 2 to your mana pool. He's a pretty expensive mana dork, but he has a nice-sized body, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 4/4, so, I mean, I could see him finding homes and, in some decks that, want to get that ramp going on, I mean, a lot of mana rocks that, tap for that same amount of mana, you get like Sisay's Ring and like Golem's Eye and stuff like that, that will add 2 to your mana pool. I mean, this is that on a 4/4 body, so, I mean...
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. I mean, I like it, I could see it finding homes in some decks that want to get their ramp on.
Plus, I mean, if we want to go back to Barrage Titan, you could actually tap him for 2 mana and then Barrage Titan for just 1 red at that point.
Yeah.
So he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like him. I could definitely see him being used as like another mana rock, more or less.
Yeah, for sure.
Up next we have Gideon's Reproach. It's a 2-cost white instant, 1 and a white. Gideon's Reproach deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. I mean, this is pretty much like a vanilla spell for white. They've had many spells like this that do like 3 or 4 damage to attacking or blocking creature, so it's something we really haven't seen before.
Yeah, I mean, or just straight up destroy them. I mean, there's been things like Divine Verdict and, stuff like Neck Snap and stuff like that, either just straight up destroy the creature or deal damage to it under the condition that it's attacking or blocking. Yeah. So, it's not... I mean, it is a new card, but it's, kind of the same basis of cards that we've seen in the past.
It's new, but slightly worse than already existing cards.
Yeah.
Up next, we have our first legendary creature that was spoiled for the set, I believe.
Which is the one that I'm most excited about right now.
And that is Omnath Locus of Rage. He is a 7-cost, which is 3, 2 red and 2 green, for 5/5 elemental. And he has landfall, so landfall is coming back, obviously, it's there. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you put a 5/5 red and green elemental creature token onto the battlefield. And whenever Omnath dies or another elemental you control dies, you deal 3 damage to target creature or player.
I'm already brewing a deck around this guy. Just throwing it out there.
He definitely has some serious blowout potential. He really, really does.
Yeah, he's definitely, kind of one of those cards where you just see it and it's like, build around me, please. And he's definitely one of those cards. And the fact that, Landfall is returning is pretty exciting for me. But also, I just like when Wizards, brings back legendary creatures from previous sets and kind of tweaks them and twists them and puts a new kind of perspective on it. I really like Omnath Locus of Rage. He's really cool. He gets you 5/5 dudes when you landfall, and he lightning bolts when he or another elemental you control dies. Tribal elementals, anyone?
I mean, and he's really good in like 2 types of decks, and they're pretty prevalent decks. You could build them easily as tribal elemental, and he's going to do a lot of damage. Or you could build himself as like a landfall deck, and he's going to do a lot of damage. So Either way, he's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be pretty similar to, at least kind of the strategy and the play style a little bit to my Titania deck, where, she will get you 5/3 dudes every time one of your lands dies. But, he'll just get you dudes when you landfall, but when those dudes die, or any of your other elementals die, he rages out on you.
He's almost as if like Borber, Gimlos, and Rage and Titania had a really weird baby. Like they just had some odd elemental baby.
I would have to agree with that full-heartedly.
Alright, and now we'll talk about the next card. Defiant Bloodlord. He's a 7-cost 4/5 vampire with flying, and whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. He's pretty cool.
I like him a lot, actually. It's essentially like a Sanguine Bond or whatever it was. The other one's Exquisite Blood. Yeah. I forget how each one works. They, very similar. Like whenever someone loses life, you gain life, and then when you gain life, they lose life.
It's like one of those two.
It's one of those 2 cards on a 4/5 flying body, so it gets my thumbs up. I like it.
I already have a vampire tribal deck, so I would probably put this in here because it's a vampire. I mean, in being 7 mana, it's still pretty fair costed for what it does. I like it. It's pretty cool.
I do as well.
Up next we have, I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. Oops, too far. We have Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder is a 2 and an X sorcery. Rolling Thunder deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. It's basically like a slightly better Fireball. Because you don't have to pay the 1 to split the target. It's a reprint of another. Not a reprint of another card. It's a reprint of itself. But it's it's very basic for what it does. I like that you can split it for free, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I could definitely see that finding home in a lot of red decks. Just that 1X. A lot of was it Bonfire of the Damned has the double X cost and whatnot. Granted, I don't think that. I think that deals damage to like each creature or something like that. But this is a pretty good card. Just the fact that you can split the damage up for free, like you said, is pretty nice.
It gets pretty much completely outcast by other X spells, but if you need another X spell, it can certainly fit the role.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
After that, we have Hedron Archive. It's our first artifact in the set that we've seen so far, and it is a 4-cost artifact that you can tap to add 2 to your mana pool, or pay 2, tap it, and sacrifice it to draw 2 cards. It's pretty cool. It's pretty basic what it does. It's pretty similar to a lot of other mana stones that you can use mana and then get rid of it later on when you no longer need it.
Yeah, like Mind Stone and the Clue Stones from the new Ravnica block and stuff like that. I could definitely see that being played in a lot of decks. Just the fact, that it costs the same amount of mana as something like Sisay's Ring, and it has the added bonus where you can sack it and draw cards when you may not need the additional ramp anymore.
One thing to note about this card is that's pretty clearly Jace's cloak. You can see the symbols that it's probably Jace.
Yep.
He also seems to have some sort of Ninja Turtle-looking body armor on. So we may see a Jace, maybe in a creature form that can actually fight, possibly, who knows, or just another Planeswalker of Jace.
Or maybe we'll have the Mind Sculptor 2.0.
Who knows? I mean, he has all these kind of cool little symbols on his armor. I don't know what it's all about, but just by looking at this, it looks like Jace has armor on. So maybe he'll, maybe he'll have a more aggressive role than his normal planeswalkers would. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, we do kind of have him in creature form right now with the flip planeswalker right now, but it would be cool to see a creature version of him, after, he had his origins and stuff like that. We've only ever seen him as a planeswalker.
Some people are going to say, oh, then there'd be 2 Jaces in Standard. Well, I mean, there's been times where there's 2 Johnnies in Standard, I believe, and 2 Garricks in Standard, so it happens. Yeah. So it's not unheard of. Up next we have Guardian of Tazim. He's a 5-cost, 4/5 flying Sphinx, and he has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature an opponent controls. If that land is an island, that creature doesn't untap during its control's untap step. I like this card a lot because it's one of the first landfall cards we've seen that has like a secondary landfall ability.
Yeah, off the same trigger. With it having to be a specific type of land.
Yeah. So who knows? You could see creatures potentially that they have a landfall ability, and it could be doing 2 or 3 different things depending on the type of land that it was.
I can see that fitting into my Derivi deck.
Which, I mean, imagine if there was a creature that had landfall where it does X thing, but it does Y if it's an island and Z if it's a forest, and you drop a breeding pool. Well, it's both. Yeah. So you would get multiple abilities.
I mean, even like the fetch lands with that guy, you could drop like a flooded strand and trigger landfall and tap something down, and then crack it, get an island with it, tap something else down, and that other one's not going to untap.
Yeah, so he's pretty solid.
I mean, we all know landfall's a fucking powerful ability, and a lot of people love it, so I'm pretty happy that it's making a return.
Rampaging Baylots and Avengers Zendikar have proven that landfall is great. All right. Up next we have Hero of Goma Fada. He's got a bizarre-ish name. Goma Fada. He's a 5-cost 4/3 human knight ally. Not very often you see like triple creature types. Either way. He has the new ability of Rally, which is a semi-new ability, but whenever Hero of Goma Fada or another ally enters a battlefield under your control, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. I really like that they gave the name Rally to the already existing ally ability. It's cool. Yeah,
and just the fact that allies are also returning in Battle for Zendikar makes me very, very happy because when the original Zendikar block was out, when you and I still played Standard, I had a red-white ally deck that I really enjoyed playing a lot.
I didn't.
Well, you didn't enjoy playing against it, but seeing a card like this really wants me to hope that Wizards is going to print an ally that's legendary, because I would love to make a tribal ally deck. That would just be something that I would love to do. Plus, I love the creature type and the effect that they bring. When another ally or that guy comes in, they rally each other to their cause and grant some sort of really cool ability. So
yeah, they almost function very similar to like slivers.
Yeah.
So I like him, and I like his indestructible a lot. It's really really cool.
That is really good.
And the fact that it's not on cast, it makes him really good with like a flicker effect. Really, really good. Next up we have Oblivion Sour. He's one of the cards that was spoiled in the dual deck. So he's a 6-cost, 5/8 Eldrazi. He doesn't have any of the other secondary types, just an Eldrazi. I wonder if when they grow up, per se, they lose all their other creature types. Like, the one right next to him, Dominator, is an Eldrazi drone, but Oblivion he's just an Eldrazi. He's like a big kid. Yeah. When you cast Oblivion Sour, target opponent exiles the top 4 cards of his or her library. Then you may put any number of land cards that player owns from exile onto the battlefield under your control. He's got a really cool ability because when you cast him, you exile 4, so he actually exiles without ingesting, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And he'll gobble up all the lands to your side of the board, but he'll also take all lands that have been exiled to your side of the board. So if you had, ingested 15 other lands through other Eldrazi, he'll take them all. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, even through, other types of effects, maybe you have, like, something like an Ashiok, and you keep ticking him up and exiling your opponent's top 3. I mean, if you're exiling lands and then you cast this Mo Trucka, he's gonna gobble up all the lands to your side of the board off of that too. So, I mean, I think he's pretty cool. I mean, granted, in Commander, if your opponent's playing different color combination than you, those lands are just gonna tap for colorless. But still,
every one of those lands will trigger landfall.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So up next we have Dominator Drone. He's a 2 and a black, 3/2 Eldrazi drone with Devoid and Ingest, which we've already gone over, so we'll just talk about his last ability, which is, when Dominator Drone enters the battlefield, if you control another colorless creature, each opponent loses 2 life. That's a really cool ability, especially since it doesn't require a cast. It's just an ETB. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you could use like flicker effects on him and stuff like that to keep draining. And what I really like about it is that it's each opponent, just not a single opponent. So you could abuse that. Yeah, it's only 2 life, but if you keep having him enter the board over and over, it'll add up.
The good thing about where we play EDH and small life totals like that is in the beginning of the game, you don't pay attention to them. Someone lightning bolts you or shocks you or makes you lose 2 life. You're like, whatever. Then once you get down to like 20, you're like, oh man.
Oh man, yeah.
You have that epiphany where you're like, I can't let that happen anymore.
Oh yeah, like something like Athreos, where it's like, oh yeah, I'll pay 3 life, so you don't get that back. Yeah, I'll pay 3.
Do that 5 times, that's 15 life.
Oh, now
it adds up.
How much life am I at?
Yeah, exactly.
You can have that back.
Yeah, you can keep that guy. So he's pretty cool. I like that it's an ETB rather than a cast ability. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Up next we have Forerunner of Slaughter. He's a 2-cost via black and red 3/2 Eldrazi drone with Devoid, and he has an ability of target colorless creature gains haste until end of turn. That's a pretty solid ability with the number of colorless creatures we're going to have.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to invest 1 extra colorless mana into something, essentially, to give it haste as long as it's colorless is pretty nice. You could, if you had like a Blightsteel Colossus down and you have friggin' 12 mana available, you could cast him and give him haste and just swing in. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool card. It definitely has, certain decks that it would fit into. But, I mean, overall, as a card, I like it. It's
really,
cool.
Really good in a Rakdos Lord of Riots deck.
Definitely, yeah.
Especially since Rakdos reduces the mana cost anyways.
So you could potentially cast something for free and then just give it haste and smash.
So you're investing the mana that you saved. It's completely fine. So he's pretty cool. Up now we have another ally. We have Veteran War Leader. He's a 3-cost via 1 colorless, a green and a white for a star. His power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control, and you can tap another untapped ally you control, and he gains your choice of First Strike, Vigilance, or Trample until end of turn. The guy is good.
He's very good.
He's really good.
That's that was another one of the cards that was kind of previewed in the duel deck, and when I first saw that, because that was the first ally that I saw from the set that was spoiled, and that's what started making me be like, oh, please friggin' make a legendary ally, because that guy will just do work in a friggin' tribal ally deck.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the few allies that, like, he needs an ally to be around him. Yep. Because you have to tap allies. You can't just tap anybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can throw him into any token deck and he'll be a big guy, but he won't be able to use his abilities.
So, unless you play something like, friggin' Xenograft or Conspiracy or, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's like a corner case situation, but, either way.
He's pretty cool, though. He's pretty solid.
I do like him a lot.
Up next, we have Sheared Drop, a white spell here, 2 and a white to cast, sorcery, destroy target tapped creature. I mean, we've seen cards like this before. It's actually like a functional reprint almost of Assassinate.
Pretty much, yeah, except it's white instead of black.
And then it also has one of this other new abilities, Awaken. So it has Awaken 3, and you have to invest 5 and a white. And if you cast a spell for 5 and a white, also put 3+1/+1 counters on target land you control, and it becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with haste, and it's still a land. I don't know that I would ever really awaken one of my lands to then be killed later on.
Yeah, especially in an EDH environment, wrath effects are pretty commonplace.
Oh, yeah.
So,
if you sneeze, the wrath is coming out.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, the ability, I think it's pretty cool. It definitely fits the flavor of Zendikar because Zendikar is all about the land, with the landfall ability. And now this one here, where you can essentially animate a land into a guy, that awaken number essentially, represents how many counters the land will get on it.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool ability.
Yeah, and then you also still retain what the actual card does. So, if you pay that 6, you destroy a target tapped creature and you animate a land. So, it's not bad. Would I play cards with Awaken in Commander? Maybe. Depends on the card, maybe the deck that I'm playing, but overall, I generally don't want to animate my lands into guys.
I mean, this card would honestly be probably too good as an instant. Because if it was an instant, they're going to tap, like, say, 2 guys to attack you. You're going to destroy one and block the other with your land. It's almost like too good as an instant, so sorcery sort of makes sense. But up next we have the last card, which is Retreat to Kazanda. A 3-cost sorcery via 2 and a green, landfall, and when you landfall, you can choose one of 2 modes. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, or you gain 2 life. Pretty basic. Pretty what it does well, and it does it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see myself cutting that into my Titania deck.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Pretty basic. It does what it does. It's got the landfall, so it's pretty cool, and it gives you options. Make dudes bigger, gain some life. So, I like it. Pretty nice. Alright guys, so that about wraps up this week's spoilers for Battle for Zendikar. So let us know what you think of these cards in the comment section below. Have a little discussion with us. Let us know what cards from this little batch so far that have been spoiled that you're pretty excited about. Me personally, I'm pretty excited about the allies and the new Omnath. So leave us some feedback. Like this video if you want to see more videos like this where we go over some spoilers for new sets. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, please hit that subscribe button. We really do appreciate it. You got anything, Derek, before we sign off?
The card I'm most excited for, honestly, is probably Forerunner Slaughter, the uncommon. So far. Just because something like this will be really, really good in my Rakdos deck. It needs a little something to give it oomph, and that could be it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, it's just kind of the hope that they make a legendary ally, because that's like the one thing that I would really love out of this set is to be able to build a tribal ally deck. But that Omnath, he's looking mighty nice.
That Omnath.
That Omnath, Locus of Rage guy. Let's get a little closer in on him.
That Omnath, though. As a side note, let's take a quick look at this funny little flavor text. So it's the flavor text for Hedging Archive, and it says, it's a conversation between Ujin and Jace. And Ujin says, "You've begun to understand the Hedron's true purpose," said Ujin. "The Eldrazi can be imprisoned." And then Jace, being kind of a douche, is like, "And how did that work out last time?" I don't know that I'd give shit to an eternal dragon. I don't know, just me. I don't know.
Well, I mean, in Ujin's defense, I mean, the Hedrons, were doing their job until, I forget the actual lore behind it, but someone, stumbled upon the Hedrons and, opened them up or whatever.
Yeah,
I believe.
Who it was. Was it Liliana?
I'm not sure.
No, she opened up the Hell Vault. There's so many things getting opened.
Yeah. But, for any of you that know the lore behind it and who actually awoken the Eldrazi and disturbed all the Hedrons, let us know in the comments. But, yeah, I mean, Ujin's my bro. In his defense, they work.
And a little trivia question at the end. If Ujin fights the Eldrazi, why does he kill non-colorless creatures? He can't kill the color. He can't kill the Eldrazi. He can't do it.
Maybe the Eldrazi are actually his creation.
Maybe he's a bad guy all along. He's getting played. I mean, everybody else is getting played by Ujin.
Or maybe they were his creation and he was, going to use them and they became more powerful than him, so he stowed them away.
They're like Skynet. It's self-aware. All right, enough about banter. This is Jay and Derek with Tap and Turn Gaming, and we will catch you guys later with the next spoiler or gameplay or deck or something that we put out.
Yep.
We'll catch you guys later.
See you guys later.
Thanks a lot. Bye.